Hello, fellow watercolorist. Here we are again. We've done the other fruit. Let's do banana, and then we'll get them all put into our fruit bowl that I showed you in the first video. The banana is trickier because the banana we think of as a cylinder, it's not. It has plane changes. It has a side here and a side here. Not only does it have sides, it has curves. Each side is curved. So we're going to deal with the plane change top and side. It's going to be a little tricky to draw. They all come out of a space up here. That's where they got pulled from the tree. Here's the bottom of it. So all three of these drawing lines will come from the same spot and go to the same spot. It really isn't going to make a difference now if this side is fatter and this side is more narrow. That's fine. We're going to have to practice this several times anyway. So let's start with plain old banana. I've got my round brush. I'm going to dampen. I'm not going to saturate, but I am going to dampen this, and I'm staying in the banana lines. There we go. We always think of a banana as yellow. What I've just done right here, see that? That's a cadmium yellow. That's too much yellow. I'm going to spread it around, but not cover the entire banana. See, I've missed some places here, and I've missed some places here. That is on purpose. While it is still damp, this is, you can use a burnt umber. This is a quinacridone gold. I'm going to add here and here. Now see, the paper's still damp. My brush is still damp. And I'm going to sort of spread it, not all the way down the seam, but I'm going to do a little down the seam. I'm going to miss a spot and come back up. I'm going to let those dance and play around till you really can't tell one from another. They all look pretty much the same. We need a shadow side. Well, if the light's going to come here, guys, this is going to be in shadow. This is going to be in shadow. But remember, it curves. So where this will be in shadow at the top, the light will hit it here. And while this is in light here, this is going to turn away from the light, and that's going to be in the shadow. I'm going to put some purple. You can't tell that that's purple, but that's purple. And I'm sticking that in so that my brain has some identifiers to work with. Now this is drying. I'm letting it dry by itself. I'm going to get some more violet or purple. Now it's on my brush. Let me show you. Let me show you. I'm just running it. It's light. Well, just that. I may have too much water on my brush. I don't know that until I try splattering a little violet. I'm doing this to give our banana a little texture. See, it got out in here. That's not bothersome. We can get a paper towel and wipe that up easy enough. When we splatter, as we put it in the fruit bowl, we'll cover the other fruit. See, that's just not a problem right now. I'm going to get a little This is Daniel Smith Undersea Green. You can use a Hooker's green with Grumbacher, any green that you want, and stick it in here and here. It's going to take some time because I don't know how to verbalize to you how much water is in my brush, how much water is still on the paper. I'm letting that, I'm bending this a little bit. I know it's hard to see. This is not nearly as strong as it looks like on the monitor. I'm going to spread that one out. Clean my brush, and I'm going to knock some moisture. I keep a bath towel under me. Now I've got to add shadow shapes, and I'm going to get back into the yellow ochre if you have it, burnt sienna if you have it, any color that you have that's a sort of a reddish brownish. And I'm going to test this, and I'm going, oh my gosh, that's still too wet. If I am not careful here, and this may happen to you, I might get a washback or a cauliflower or a blossom. It goes by many names. I'm going to put it back here on this shadow side. And again, I didn't paint just a solid brown there. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this white here or not. You know what? I'm going to decide I'm not. I'm going to leave that light. I'm pulling some of this out with my brush. It's clean, damp brush, because that's where, see, the light is going to hit. And if that's going to be the light part, then I've got medium and I've got dark. Now I want to separate these two without them bleeding because there is a plane change. So I'm going to hit it a lick, and I'm going to dry the whole thing with my blow dryer. All righty, I'm dry now, and I'm going to test it with a knuckle, not my hand, but just a little knuckle to see how dry it is. I'm going to put shadow side here. Now, I've mentioned this. I want to mention it again, but I've done this before. I want to keep this as simple as I can for you because these are beginning. I don't, we don't want to get real extravagant. Right there, chunk, too much pigment. I'm going to rinse my brush, dry my brush, and spread that out a little bit. I kind of like it. Didn't mean to like it. I'm going to stick some more down here. Now I'm getting a little darker here. Oops, sorry, bumped the table. On the seam, but I don't want this seam to make a line. Now, when we do this for real and we draw it for real, but not today, don't worry with today, we'll erase part of this seam line because this is going to give the eye enough information right there. This is right now pretty much banana. I'm going to soften some of this. So dark, light, medium, light, medium, dark. I'm going to slightly, see, I've lost my splatters here. I'm going to slightly dampen part of this. I'm going to go back with some green and dot just a hair. I just want these to bleed in again for some texturing. Let me show you what to do if it doesn't bleed. Damp, clean brush, wash it out, spread it out that way. What I want to try to avoid is having these look like the measles. So I'm not placing it everywhere. Matter of fact, that looks a lot like the measles. I'm going to blend it in. Do a little stripe, a little stripe. I like that. I'm going to add a little more green. Now this is going on top of yellow, not white paper. Flipping some green here. Now you get into artist discretion here. So while you're learning to do this sweet banana, experiment with it. Do far more than one. I'm going to add a little more burnt sienna up there. Not enough. Too much. There we go. I don't want to work this banana until you can't eat it. I'm going to lift the camera a bit. There we go. There we go. I'm going to darken with my violet again, and I'm using violet a lot here because violet, or purple, I don't mean violet, purple and yellow are complementary colors. That looks like just a purple square. I'm going to tissue and add a little texture to it. I'm going to polka dot this, smush it, and now what I need to do is leave it alone. As you look at your banana, you might decide part of it's too dark. If that's the case, rinse your brush, dampen your brush. If your brush is not clean, you're going to put back whatever color is in there and pull it up. If you pull out too much, you can put more back in. We will add a banana to this because we're going to have a bunch, which means there'll be another banana coming off the top. They may and may not be in line. Oops, that's pretty bad, isn't it? There's that, and there's that coming under here. So here we see the top plane. We don't see the side plane. We see the top plane. We see the side plane. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add some yellow. And that's plenty. Now we know that this side is going to be really separated from the light source. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. Got that violet. I'm not going to make too much of this. Matter of fact, I'm going to, as I look at this, add a little more yellow in here. And I'm going to handle this the same way. I'm going to splatter. This is damp, so the splattering should dissipate. I'm going to put some burnt sienna or ochre, whatever you have here, and bring it down. Bring that down. I like that. I don't like the way that curves, so I'm going to do that. Now here, I'm going to get the burnt sienna And I'm going to come carefully in here, stay on the seam, make this darker, or at least a very different color. See, that's more green. We need to be able to tell those apart. There we go. I'm not going to worry too much with this end. This is the end we're going to see. See, that's still wet. I'm going to get purple, very little purple. Bring that in. I'm going to brighten that up with some sienna. That with some sienna. Now I can decide right now that that's a little ugly. We'll go for ugly. So I'm going to add yellow in here, and then in just a minute, I'm going to come back and pull a light source out. But while it's damp, and again, damp, I don't know how to describe it really, I can place some of the green in here. And I'm going to go back to the purple, it's darker. I'm going to add this into it. And I'm going to join that. I'm going to need to go back in here. You see how odd that looks? I'm just going to bring that color, whatever it is, up to that line. I'm going to add more green. I'm either going to try doing it, I'm going to try doing it this way, give it now. See, we've got the light here, the light here, no light here. I've got a clean, damp brush, and I'm pulling out some light right there. I look to see if I like it. I'm going to add a little more light up there. This is confusing to me. And when we get all of this in the bowl, it won't be. And I'm going to leave that alone. We might come off with another one here with space in between. And again, I'm going to put, again, too much yellow. So I'm going to water that down really good. Yellow can be, and I'm going to do the same procedure that I did before. I'm going to get the burnt sienna or yellow ochre. If you put a little violet in your yellow ochre or even in your yellow, let me do that for here. I just added yellow, purple into my yellow, and it turns it up just a little browny. And I'm going to spread that around. I'm going to come up top because I know that's going to hook right in there. Yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Now here's our light, so it's going to shine here as well as here. So it's going to be here and it's going to be there. You see how I top and side. Do the same thing down here, and now you've got the idea. I'm going to stick some more green in here. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll wash it out or erase it. Now this I haven't done on the others. I put green in this seam. Don't know if I'm going to like it. It looks almost rotten, doesn't it? Almost rotten. Darker up in here. Now this one's still wet. In a minute, I'm going to need to dry it. I'm going to smush that around. I'm going to pull this out because I know that's where I'm going to want the light source right here. While it's damp. Now I'm going a little, probably too quickly for you right here. This is the banana is flatter this side. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to bring this up. Now I'm going to splatter. And it's may or may not be too soon. Again, I don't know till I get it on there. So I'm going to splatter it. I still want to be able to eat it by the time I get it home from the grocery store. Stare at it for a little while. Now, you see here, I got out of the line and it's bothersome. I'm going to start up here with my burnt sienna. We'll bring it down here. I'm going to capture those shapes that got out of line. That looks a little yucky, so I'm going to stick some yellow in there. This looks a little bland. I'll stick some yellow in there. Actually, I might stick a little bit of yellow up in here because it dries so much lighter than you think it's going to. Now I'm going to pause this a second and I'm going to blow dry this. Here we go. I'm looking at it here in the monitor. It looks just a little dull. I'm going to put, you know how we did the glaze there? I'm going to get this yellow and I'm running my brush through it very lightly. And I'm just running my brush over that. Come back in and pick this up. Get my light source back out. This time I'm going to use the tissue. I'm going to do the same thing up here, see if it makes it happier. And it does. I'm going to bring a little green streak up here, kind of like we did in the other one. Your viewer won't really notice it. This has to be much darker. Now, has to be, no, it doesn't have to be. In mine, I want this darker. It doesn't have to be anything. You know, no two are going to be alike. Every time you do a different one, it's going to be very different than the one you did before. We're not doing realism here. We're doing a very, very basic banana, or we hope our viewer will see it as a banana. I don't like that little knob there. If you don't like something, try to fix it. If trying to fix it makes it worse, then all you have to say to yourself is, well, that was wrong. Won't try that again. Because we're learning, we're practicing, and we're practicing a lot. See, I'm diddling around now. I'm putting a little more brown in there. And I'm going to stop this diddling. As I keep diddling there. I'm going to stop this diddling. That's what you'll need to practice before we put it in the bowl. You see, in the bowl, everyone's different. We're going to walk through this. And there you have a very basic beginning watercolor of a bunch of bananas. So you can rewind this, pause this, work it at your own pace. But what I'd like to remind you to do is to subscribe to my channel, comment on the exercises if you would like, and spend time watching them over and over again. Remember to subscribe, and you'll know what videos I put up, and you will know when the fruit bowl will be videoed. And I will see you after a lot of happy painting.